finally, guys, we're gonna be talking about Alex Jones, because Jones not having a good time, not having a great time right now, and this is where we're gonna start seeing kind of this victory lap by the left leaning media for taking credit for kicking Jones off of the platforms that he's been kicked off of. Right, obviously YouTube booted him, Facebook booted him, Twitter is surprisingly keeping him around. Right. But YouTube, he's just gone. He's just being deplatformed. And they thought that they had a win. They thought that they were able to use that controversy as a way to boost up their numbers. But it appears that might actually be all for nothing. Saying here that InfoWars said YouTube ban would make it stronger. Actually, it's been crushed. Now, this is coming from the Daily Beast, so be sure to take this with as much of a grain of salt as you want. But it is something interesting worth looking at, considering what they talk about. Now, it says here, InfoWars host Alex Jones is struggling to replace the audience he lost after being banned from YouTube, according to viewership totals published on the video sites still willing to host him. Jones and his allies initially reacted to InfoWars being banned from Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, and a host of other tech platforms by claiming that the bans would only draw more attention to InfoWars. After the bans, the InfoWars app surged to the top of both Apple and Google's store, nearly reaching the top of Apple News category. InfoWars cited the app's growing popularity as proof that the conspiracy outlet could outwit globalist tech gatekeepers. As we see here, there's a tweet from Paul Joseph Watson saying InfoWars is now number one. I can't do his voice. On Android and iPhone, basically, we've shifted tactics from third-party tech sites that censor to being back under our control, which... Sure, in that first couple days, it did. I believe it was around 5.6 million or 5 million, somewhere in there is what I'd heard originally. People downloaded the app. Alex Jones is out there, kind of, like the war beating his chest, beating the drum. We've done it. The globalists won't win, sort of thing. But then even last week, he got booted off of Twitter for 7 days because he was on Periscope doing his show. And ended up doing this whole thing, basically telling everyone to get battle rifles and get ready to go to war. And people were just like, wait a minute there, homie. Like, what are you doing right now, Jones? Like, stop it. Stop talking. Stop doing what you're doing. That's what's kind of been happening. So anyway, it says here, though, 2 weeks later, the InfoWars app is set to slip out of the top 30 news apps, and InfoWars is nowhere near replacing its lost YouTube viewership. That is so true. When it comes to what Jones does and how he is able to grow and build, social media is a large, integral part of that, especially Facebook. Most everyone has talked about YouTube as being the thing where he gets the most of his views, which is true. That's where most of the views come in. But when it comes to reaching the new audience, the type of audience that he wants to reach, it really is Facebook, because the younger kids aren't really on Facebook as much anymore, but their parents are, and their parents are Jones's primary demographic. Now, it says here, InfoWars currently hosts videos on Real Video, a niche video hosting site that promises the content on the platform is protected under free speech and prominently features other channels promoting militias or dubious nutritional ideas. InfoWars video on Real Video regularly receive only a few hundred or 1,000 views. And this has a lot to do with the fact that those particular outlets don't have the reach. This is one of the problems with secondary video hosting sites that are trying to compete with YouTube. They simply do not have the reach. But by comparison, InfoWars posts on YouTube regularly received at least 5 figures in terms of viewerships. InfoWars videos on YouTube earned more than 500,000 views a day on average, while InfoWars' main YouTube channel received more than 17 million views in the 30 days before its ban. And it did. It really, really, really did. A lot of people were watching it on YouTube. Why? Because 1.5 billion people use it. It's the second largest search engine on the web, and the algorithm works to benefit people like Jones. Not conspiracy. I'm talking just the type of content, the stuff that's kind of easily shareable. They do a lot of clickbait type stuff on there. That was one of the big things. If you can play the clickbait game on YouTube well enough, you can do okay. And I'm sure you know people that you watch channels that do that. But it's true. He was getting a lot of his attention from YouTube, which would then draw people to the website, draw people to watching the live shows, and then buying the supplements, which is where he makes his few $1 million a year off of those supplements. Now, while Jones has other ways to reach his viewers, including the website and radio show, the dismal viewership figure suggests that YouTube ban seriously cut into his reach. Without access to his YouTube audience, Jones will find it harder to both spread his claims, like the allegation about Sandy Hook, and to sell nutritional supplements. Again, the soy-based vitality supplements. Also, taint wipes. Don't forget about taint wipes. Real Video and InfoWars did not respond to request. But here's where it gets interesting when they start talking about BitChute. Now, if you know anything about this YouTube side of things, the commentary side of things, a lot of commentators out there hate YouTube. They're on YouTube, but they hate YouTube. So where do they go? They're going like, go to VidMe. Now it's BitChute, right? And BitChute's eating up this press right now. They love it. I don't blame them one damn bit. But BitChute is kind of where people have been directing InfoWars to go to. Well, this is what it says about BitChute here. BitChute, another would-be YouTube rival, does become a go-to refuge for right-wing media figures banned from YouTube. InfoWars has urged his fans to check out Jones's video on BitChute, but most of the recent InfoWars videos have paltry viewership numbers, with many of them less than 100 views. Meanwhile, even the most popular InfoWars videos posted on the site are less than 10,000 views, which would have been a terrible performance for even a minor InfoWars clip posted on YouTube. Yeah, it's legitimately true. With that size, with over, I think he had like 3 million subscribers and 500,000 views a day. Yeah, that would be a pretty low thing there. In fact, it finishes up here by saying the only platform where Jones still pulls in significant viewership numbers is also the last remaining social media site that hasn't banned him, and that would be Twitter. InfoWars posted videos to Twitter regularly pull in tens of thousands of views, although other videos also earned roughly the same amount before Jones was banned from YouTube, suggesting no significant jump in viewership after the ban. And that's very true. There's no significant growth from Alex Jones as a result of this. His audience on Twitter hasn't grown. He's banned off of Facebook, so he can't tap into that particular middle-aged demographic, and YouTube has crushed him out. Now, I don't believe that Jones should have been deplatformed. I've said this openly before, and I stand by it right now. The content that he makes, while I disagree with it, is, if he's just putting out his theories and his ideas, that's fine. There has been times where it does kind of feel like he is kind of edging the boundaries of calling to action, calling for violence. Like I said earlier with that Twitter video or that Periscope video where he was calling for people to get their battle rifles. That is what got him booted off of Twitter for 7 days. So there are extremes that even Twitter won't put up with, and that's kind of the last bastion. And Jack Dorsey does not want to piss off the conservatives on this case. He's gone on almost like an Alex Jones InfoWars apology tour sort of thing to say, look, I'm sorry, we're not going to ban him and whatnot. And look, at all things Jack Dorsey has ever done, I give him credit for sticking to his guns on that one. Fine. Okay, but that being said, Jones is in a very precarious position because the likelihood of him actually being snuffed out from Twitter is going to get high. Twitter is looking to sell. They are. They have been for a while. And if and when they do, not even an if, but when they do, the next owner may come in and just purge all of that. They might. And if Alex Jones loses Twitter, loses Periscope, loses that access to the last bastion of major social media, considering that his audience, the people that he generally tends to attract are those that are not social media savvy. They're not the younger demographic. They're the middle-aged and older demographics. They're not active in very many places outside of maybe Facebook. And they might come to Twitter eventually, but they're not really active outside of Facebook. And if the YouTube algorithm isn't sharing videos because it can't, because they're not there, then you're going to see InfoWars take a solid dip. And when it comes to the search for more money, this is where things for Alex Jones are going to get tricky. And this is just my theory, my speculation, but he needs money to survive. If he's not getting it through people buying supplements, he'll have to seek finances elsewhere. And that's what's going to get really dangerous for Jones. When the people out there that have been financing aspects of, let's say, hardcore right-leaning extremists on YouTube, as well as trying to push particular agendas through media, start trying to fund Alex Jones, we're going to see a whole different Alex Jones. And I don't want to see that version of Alex Jones. It's going to be crazy. So hopefully he'll calm down a little bit. He'll keep his opinions fine, but he'll calm down on the rhetoric and maybe kind of work his way back into it. And I think eventually he might work his way back in. I think they'll let him if he just like calms down a little bit. But if he starts going full 1776 will rise again, calling for people to get rifles, get ready for some kind of war, they're just going to silence him. And when that happens, it's going to push him to a dark place. And by that, I mean like the dark web, the deep web. and get in those kind of like financiers that want a specific agenda. And when you're speaking to those kind of people, and you are giving them a platform, and you are giving them, you're speaking to their ideology, as more or less at this point would be a very vocal recruitment technique, you're going to see problems coming out of that. And that's just going to be where things go. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with Alex Jones. But whatever comes next, I don't think is going to be good. And I mean that for literally anybody.